Okay, just the part 17 of the Ziggurat of Ur that that I just recorded was halted because of a lack of space in the iPhone, so I cleaned some space. So let's continue. So as I was saying, unlike in humans that you can actually freeze the sperm and then do conduct a fertilization. Either inside the body, in with the egg inside the body of the female, or completely outside. But the bodies of both the female and the male, and then insert it for pregnancy after the fertilization, into the body of the female. This cannot be done with cubes, because even though they are so the yellow neurons that act as sperm cell are incredibly robust and sophisticated, so they can actually act as equivalent to sperm cells of of course of cherubs, with female cherub, but also of titan sperm cells to impregnate female titan, and also they can be used to impregnate female Homo sapiens. But one thing that you cannot do, and as I said, I'm not sure regarding titans. Titan males, I don't know if they can do it, or not. My intuition is that they are like cherubs, in that it's impossible to do it, and unlike almost humans. But I'm not 100% certain. So unlike in humans, you cannot do it in vitro fertilization with cherubs. You cannot, because an integral part of the process is to store the sperm. Because the male jerks off, and then it does not jerk off directly into the machine where the in vitro fertilization happens, right? It cannot be done. It's not done like that. There is even if it's short term, there is kind of there is an interval where the vial is stored, and possibly for many years. But even if it's just a couple of hours, even if it's a very quick process, if it's stored if it's kept outside the freezer even for a couple of hours, it will, maybe it actually will still be potent, but probably it will even then freezing it will be an integral part of the procedure. And the idea is that while it's freezing, it's in hibernation, it's kind of it sleeps. And then you can thaw it, defreeze it, and then it's kind of in the same condition when you freeze it. They're just similar to the same concept there is when you freeze a loaf of bread, or I don't know, your remnants of your spaghetti from yesterday's lunch, and you want to eat it in another day. Same way, the sperm cells of men are stored, maybe for short term, maybe for very long term, but that's the way that it's done. This cannot be done with the yellow neurons that act as the sperm cells of the cherubs. It cannot be done, because you can freeze them, but they will not hibernate. They will only be much more active, and probably this wasn't proven, but it's most probably, and I think everyone with a little knowledge of physics will agree that most probably the lower the temperature, the more active they are, because that's how conductors, superconductors are. Not only superconductors, actually this is true to almost any kind of conductive material. That conductivity in general in this the universe, conductivity in general is higher with in reverse proportion to temperature, and this is manifestly to great extent when we deal with superconductors, and the neurons are certainly superconductors. The only question is that whether they are room temperature superconductors, and what exactly is room temperature superconductor, because it's kind of a thing that is not known to humans. It's speculated by humans, but they don't know if it actually exists. It's the yellow neurons, but since they don't know if it's existent, it's not even really well defined. But certainly they are superconductors. So yes, I cannot prove it, but I mean, it was proven. It was proven several times, and actually documented in this channel, that when we put it in freezer, like I've done several, like, I mean, parallel studies with the same kind of experiment, one outside the freezer, one inside the freezers, and it was demonstrated, shown that the ones that the slide that was inside the freezer, we've seen like that the neurons worked like more, I mean, effectively during the same time, and it was the same like amount of like ejaculation. And so I mean, and there were, and so I mean, it was beneficially true that, I mean, there is like more developed, like, I mean, creation. There are also creation, but and also in several types of experiments that are actually documented in the channel. But yes, they work better in the freezer, most certainly, because of the lower temperature. Even though it should be said that this is not certain, because it might be that, I mean, other like, I mean, conditions in the freezer that actually help them to work, like maybe the magnetism of the like, I mean, of the freezer like compartment, like, I mean, especially the door, which is highly magnetized, and maybe the sound. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, renegade theories. I mean, it's much more, I mean. The simple explanation is that, I mean, that we know that they use electrical energy. That's their preferred like source of like, I mean, kind of energy that they work with. This was established long ago, and I mean, so I mean, the simple explanation that, I mean, they are superconductors, and that they work better in like, I mean, in freezing temperature. But as I said, even this point, like, we have like a renegade theory that I'm not in a position to actually evaluate, because since April I'm under arrest in this hostel, and I don't have like access to freezer. Just, I mean, freezer of the, you know, the shared freezer that, I mean, is used for food. I cannot use it for research. And as I said, if I had money, maybe the first thing, like, laboratory like equipment that I would have bought, like, is a freezer, because it's extremely important when you deal with superconductors. So, but yes, maybe it's because of the sound, because there's like a peculiar sound inside the refrigerator, and maybe because of the magnetism, and maybe because all of it. Anyway, what is certainly true is that they do not hibernate in freezer temperature. They become more active, and they do what they do outside, when they are outside my body. Now, what do they do when they are outside my body? This is the major theme of this channel, and we have thousands of videos, like, I mean, close to 1,000 videos. I mean, not all of it, I mean, many of it, about half, I mean, are related to all, maybe politics and, like, I mean, biography, things like that, but hundreds are directly research videos with evidence and theories that directly deal with this question: what do they do when they are outside my body? This is the main theme of this channel, the entire YouTube channel. What do they do when they are outside my body? Of course, there is no simple answer, but they certainly do stuff. And while they do it, they change, they multiply, they grow, they change, and they create life forms. Not only life forms, but they create life forms. So if you will freeze the ejaculation of like a cherub, and then you take it, I mean, after some time, take it out of the freezer, and you like mechanically insert it into like the like, I mean, the you know, the vagina of a female, and it can be both like female cherub or titan female or Homo sapiens female. What will actually happen is that what you will actually insert is not neurons the way that were, I mean, created in the testicles, but all sort of like, I mean, all sort of like, I mean, entities that, I mean, there will be all sorts of like neurons that were created that grew outside, and like as part of like a different ecosystem. Most certainly there will be like, I mean, they will create life form in the process. I mean, there are ways to I mean, avoid it, like to tell them not to do it, but you need to know, I mean, to know, to understand the symbolic language, and no one understands it. And I think that no one else understands the symbolic language besides me, and even I'm like still an amateur in this symbolic language, and I wouldn't like trust my knowledge in such a critical, like, kind of like endeavor is like to impregnate a woman, like in vitro fertilization. So you will actually place like in the vagina all sorts of like robots that are mutated and changed, and also life forms, and most certainly you cannot expect that this will actually result in a viable and in any way normal like human baby or cherub baby or titan baby. Like I would guess my assumption is that the highest probably with highest most probably there will be no pregnancy at all, and another option with the lower probability but still not insignificant is that she will get into pregnant, but it will terminate very soon. Like it will be like a natural abortion, like after a month or so. And there is also the yet even less another third option, which is even less probable than the second, but it's still not insignificant. It's the lowest of the three, but it's not like of marginal probability. It's something that you should take into account. Something that could happen, even if low probability, it could happen. Which is that actually the pregnancy will occur, and this, I know it sounds incredibly creepy, but we deal with creatures that can do amazing stuff, including very, very creepy stuff. And this was documented very well in this channel, so that actually this woman, whether she's a cherub or titan or Homo sapiens, will actually produce a viable creature, like living baby, and this baby can be delivered into the world, but God forbid, what will actually, what it will be? You cannot say. I don't want to venture into the realms of horror movies, but this is exactly it. Like like worse than Rosemary's Baby, but just something like do I need to give you also for examples? Just whenever I speak about, I do not speak about like crippled human beings or like a baby that was born without one finger. I think like more like walk like an Egyptian, like Ra or Osiris, these kind of creatures. Like monsters. So only like an incredibly irresponsible person will actually try to do such a thing, or someone that don't know nothing about anything and like is completely ignorant about anything. But if you know anything about like the nature of the neos, of the yellow neos, and this is this channel is the prime like place to, and it's presumably publicly available, even though the Israelis block it. So, but what can I do? So this channel, this is the correct place to actually learn about the nature of the neos, and what I sure that after you studied the material in this channel, you will never even like think about like remotely the option to actually try to conduct in vitro fertilization with the yellow neos, because this can end like in a monster, like literal monster, not like crippled or kind of like a human with or cherub or titan with kind of like a medical condition. I'm thinking about like real monsters, like monsters like Ra or Osiris, like things like that, or Ptah. Like that are half human, half like wolves or cats or whatever. So you can be certain it's not another cherub that like puts the sperm inside her body, inside like my ex-wife's body. Now there is still, if you really want like to exhaust all the options, you can say, so maybe it wasn't a cherub, because it's, first of all, you don't know of any cherub outside myself, and even the fact that I'm a cherub was denied by the Israeli vehemently, even up to today, like up to now. So can you, are you going to claim that it's another cherub? Like, and even if it was, this issue. So this issue relates to we say the sanctity of our marriage that were terminated long ago, but it's not related to the question of like how like babies are born, because they are born again. Like, I mean, even if it was by cheating, I mean, still, I mean, yes, it's like by vaginal sex and regular pregnancy. But you can say, so maybe, okay, when I said it's impossible to be careful, but you yourself, you said that you are not sure, 100% sure that with Titan it's also like that. Because the fact that I'm not sure, because I never like had like in my possession any microscopic slide with the material, so I can actually conduct experiments and watch it under the microscope. And it's probably impossible to get it, because it's impossible to in our days, it's almost impossible to actually meet with the Titan male, because they are so rare. Even in Venus they are rare. In the homeland they are rare, and when one arrived in Israel, and this becomes more and more, I mean, rare. 100 years ago, I mean, it was very common. But I mean, now it's almost never happens, and when it does happen, they kill him almost immediately, because they are a bunch of like cannibalistic psychopaths. So even like as a research option, it's I don't know how to actually conduct this research actually. And mostly the males that arrive now are not real males, but what I call wizard, which is like females that change their form to look like males. So their sperm will be, I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is, but certainly it cannot be used to impregnate Titan females. Certainly it cannot, because Titan females have like sex with the wizard. This is one of the health issues regarding the Titan since long ago, that these relationships are dangerous and create diseases, and yet the Titans, especially those in Israel, because the Israelis are always, I mean, in any kind of aspect or category, it's always that the Israelis are the worst of the worst. So unsurprisingly, the Israeli Titans are also the worst from all other aspects and that perspective. And among the many aspects of the cruelty and irresponsibility, you should certainly, I mean, we should, mention the sexual promiscuity that is much more abundant in Israel than outside of Israel. Because I mean, everything that is negative, I mean, is much more pronounced in Israel. That's the way it is. So one of the bad habits of the female Titans in Israel is to actually have sex, all sorts of sex, like vaginal, anal, oral sex with the wizards. The wizards are, basically it's like transgenders of the Titans. They have the appearance of male, but they are women. And this kind of relationship most certainly cannot produce babies. If it was possible, it was known like 100 years ago, because they do it for a long time now. Again, this is one of the major health concerns regarding the existence of Titans in Earth. The fact that they can have sex with between like wizards, which is transgenders and females. But unlike with Homo sapiens, that these kind of like sexual intercourse, of course, will not produce a baby, but it's not inherently dangerous. With Titans, it was proven long ago that it's dangerous. And why it's actually dangerous? It's not the subject of this video, because there are actually scientific reasons for that. But if you were really interested, I will try to dedicate another video, only to this point, because this is a scientific issue. But be that as it may, this is known it was widely known during the 1980s, and yet they keep doing it up to this day. Why do the Israelis in general keep doing the same mistakes again and again? Because they are Israelis and they are Jews, and that's what Israelis and Jews are known for, to repeat the same mistakes. Anyway, such a relationship between a wizard and a Titan female, the best case scenario that it will just be a fun activity without. There is no chance, to produce baby from such a relationship, and that they are actually to this day common in Israel, and no baby was ever produced like in such a way. In more than 100 years of Zionism and Titan subjugation. So my intuition is that regarding the in vitro fertilization possibility that the Titans are like cherubs, because the red Neos, like what you call the male T or male T, and the brown Neos, that is, I mean, in your mythology it's called like P or T, or I don't know how we call it. Cola, I don't know how you call it. I mean, I don't know what's their properties, because I've never had the ability to. I don't want to just, I mean, to say things without like research. I mean, whatever I say about the yellow Neos is back to his like recorded evidence, microscopic videos. I mean, hours on hours and many hours of microscopic videos that, I mean, that are publicly available in this channel, unless the Israelis block the channel. But at least, I mean, I'm doing whatever I can to be publicly available. And until I do such, I mean, such research on the brown, like, I mean, the equivalent of the cells that are equivalent, but of Titans, I cannot like say anything like with 100% certainty, because it will not be backed by evidence, and there is no like other, like, I mean, publicly, I mean, source of information regarding the biology of the Titans, unfortunately, because it's all, you know, shrouded in conspiracy. So yes, I cannot say that I'm 100% certain that it's impossible to do in vitro with male Titans, but I'm almost 100% certain, and the reason is that because they don't have sperm cells, they have the T, which is kind of like Neos that are not exactly like mine, but of course much more similar to my Neos than to human sperm cells. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's basically like comparing, I mean, you know, like, I mean, you know, XTPC, if you remember from the 80s, on the one hand, and on the other hand, like, I mean, modern, like, I mean, you know, like Core 9, like, I mean, Intel based, like, PC from our time, and to put this comparison on one table, and on the another table, like, to place a rabbit, and to ask, I mean, how can you, I mean, kind of like create groups inside this group of like 3 objects? I mean, what's the logical way to create subgroups from these 3 objects? I mean, so obviously there is the rabbit belongs to one subgroup, and the Axis PC and the Core 9 PC belong to another subgroup, because they are obviously more similar to each other than they are. Each of them is similar to the rabbit. So it's the same with the Titan and the Cherub sperm cells and human sperm cells, and the human sperm cells are the rabbit in this analogy, and the XT PC is the Titan sperm cell, and the Core 9 Intel PC is the Cherub sperm cell. Okay, so, I mean, of course, all of these scientific issues, I mean, there is much to say, but it's just, I mean, I didn't plan to speak about it too much, because it's an issue of its own. And if you are very interested, I can find the time maybe in the near future, maybe even in the next couple of days, to speak about it, especially about I think the most important is to speak about the dangers that certain types of sexual relationship that includes Titans, the danger that it poses. And this was an issue that was known long ago. I mean, maybe they didn't understand the reason completely, but I mean, the fact that it's dangerous was known many decades ago. And so, but I mean, of course, it's not public information, because it's all conspiracy. So if you want, I can speak about it. In any case, no, Titans, you are not created in a factory. You are born into the world. I mean, you are by the process of vaginal sex, which is widely documented in many, I mean, prime internet sites. So if you don't know how to do it, I mean, you can like find like online help, and it's done, of course, between male Titan and female Titan, not between. And if you do it, I mean, if you wizard is part of it, like a transgender, this will not produce a baby. You need actually like male titan and female titans, and if it's not clear to anyone, the titans are binary, just like humans. I mean, there are males and females. I mean, if anyone has any question on the matter, what more can you suggest? Maybe you can say that that they live like underwater with the sharks, and they are actually sharks. I mean, how stupid can you be? Of course, they are binary creatures. They are males and they are females. And in order to produce a baby, you need a male and a female to have vaginal sex, and then sometimes this concludes in actual fertilization, and then pregnancy, and then the baby get out. Enter this world from his mother's womb. That's how Titan, babies are starting their way in this world. And most certainly, this process cannot be, altered to include in vitro fertilization. Most certainly, even though I'm not 100% certain, but most certainly, because of the same reasons that I've said why it's impossible to do it with cherubs. But unlike in the case of cherubs, I don't have I didn't conduct experiments on the robots, the nanobots of the Titan, so I cannot say anything with 100% certainty. But my assumption is that, like in the case of the cherubs, and basically from the same reasons, it cannot be done in vitro. So you actually need to have sex, like vaginal sex, between a male and a female. So, if you didn't know, now you know, and hopefully now we are all, after we discussed this urgent matter, we have our freedom of mind and leisure to continue with the fairy tale, and this will be the subject of the next video. Of course, the fairy tale that I articulated, and that its name is the Three Sisters.